In June 2017, a fake news story shocked the cryptocurrency world. Vitalik Buterin, the creator of Ethereum, had reportedly died in a car accident. Within hours, Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrency globally, pumped by nearly 20%, losing approximately $4 billion in market capitalization. This panic revealed a harsh truth. A multi-billion-dollar project, built on the promises of complete decentralization, was effectively held hostage by the life of one individual. To quell the chaos, Vitalik took an unusual step. He posted a selfie holding a piece of paper displaying the number and hash of the latest transaction block in his network, data impossible to fake. Only then did the price of Ether begin to recover. But who is Vitalik Buterin really? A technological genius, or the architect of a potential financial scheme, an altruist, or the accidental creator of an unpredictable system? His story, filled with idealism, conflicts, and serious accusations, is more thriller about power, technology, and responsibility than a simple tale of success. Vitalik Buterin was born in 1994 in Kolomna, Russia, during a time when the Soviet Union had collapsed and a chaotic form of bandit capitalism thrived in its ruins. His mother, Natalia, was an ordinary economist, while his father, Dmitry, a programmer and system analyst, attempted to establish an IT consulting company. In the 1990s, running a business without intermediaries was nearly impossible. Direct dealing often came with persistent offers of cooperation from those wielding power. In 2000, when Vitalik was 6, the family fled to Canada in search of stability. In Canada, Vitalik quickly stood out as an extraordinary child. He solved the equation faster than his teacher could write them and was fascinated by the workings of world in ways his peers couldn't comprehend. Unofficially, estimates place his IQ above 150, meaning his ability to process information and think abstractly surpassed that of 99% of people. At school, he was considered odd. He spoke with an accent, avoided physical education, shunned small talk, and immersed himself in mathematics, physics, and cryptography. By age 10, he was creating complex games in Excel, finding solace in numbers amidst nervous tics and stuttering caused by peer misunderstanding. As a teenager, he became engrossed in online games like World of Warcraft, where his favorite character was a dark mage warlock. When developers nerfed the character's spells, Vitalik cries all night, an experience that planted the seed for his future rebellion against centralist control. His name, Vitali, sounded too Russian for Canada, and teachers and classmates struggled with this pronunciation, so he suggested they call him Vitalik, a softer name for English speakers, evoking the vibe of comic book superhero. Thus began his transformation. Vitalik was neither fully Russian nor Canadian. He lived between worlds, striving to bridge them from a young age. In 2011, at age 17, Vitalik's father introduced him to Bitcoin. Initially, he dismissed it, skeptical of anything tied to money, but his father persisted, showing him technical documentation and explaining cryptographic hashing. Vitalik dove into the code and had an epiphany. Bitcoin wasn't just money, it was a system without a central authority, immune to bribes and arbitrary control. It was a mathematical anarchy and it captivated him. He began writing articles for Bitcoin Weekly, earning 5 Bitcoin per piece, mere dollars at the time but worth hundreds of thousands today. Soon, alongside Mikhail Lisie, he co-founded Bitcoin Magazine, the first serious publication about cryptocurrencies. For Vitalik, it was a portal to a new world, one where money transcended visas and borders, governed by private keys and open code. Over time, however, he grew disillusioned. Bitcoin was elegant but limited, like a calculator capable of only basic operations. This realization spawned the idea of Ethereum, Crafting the Ethereum manifesto and enrolling at the prestigious University of Waterloo, Vitalik studies cutting-edge encryption methods, but academic walls soon felt restrictive. After receiving a $100,000 grant to support young investors, he dropped out, channeling every dollar into developing Ethereum. Living on takeout noodles and crashing with acquaintances, he traveled the world studying crypto projects and seeking like-minded collaborators. In 2013, he wrote the Ethereum White Paper, a technical document outlining the project's vision. Its core idea: a blockchain could be more than a system for transferring digital money. It could be a platform for running programs called smart contracts, which automatically execute predefined conditions. Ethereum transformed the blockchain into a universal computer, offering a full programming language to build any application within the network. Vitalik shared the document with crypto enthusiasts worldwide, attaching future co-founders like Gavin Wood, Charles Hoskinson, Joseph Lubin, and Anthony Di Iorio. However, tensions arose early on. For Vitalik, Ethereum was a philosophy. For others, it was an investment opportunity to scale. At one point, the team purposed to turning Ethereum into a commercial corporation, issuing shares and purposing Silicon Valley-style venture capital. Vitalik was adamantly opposed, insisting on no hierarchy, open source code, and a mission-driven approach. He issued an ultimatum: "If you make it a company, I'm out." Ethereum remained a non-profitable project, a decision that became one of the most pivotal in crypto history. In the summer of 2014, the Ethereum team conducted an initial coin offering, ICO, raising about 18 million in weeks. It was a moment when thousands first believed in a cryptocurrency-driven future. In 2015, Ethereum's first working version, Frontier, launched. A simple blockchain where users could mine Ether, run smart contracts, and process real transactions. The network evolved rapidly, with updates improving security and reducing fees. Standards like ERC-20 enabled the creation of thousands of new tokens, while ERC-721 introduced the first collectible NFTs. Ethereum grew from an experimental platform into a robust ecosystem for games, digital collectibles, and financial services. In spring 2016, the Ethereum community buzzed with anticipation over the DAO, a decentralized investment fund where anyone could vote on fund allocation. Within a month, about 11,000 people invested Ether worth roughly $150 million. But in June, disaster struck. A hacker exploited a code vulnerability, siphoning off $50 million. It was a catastrophe that threatened to destroy Ethereum. Vitalik faced a dilemma: save the funds of thousands by compromising the blockchain's sacred immutability, or uphold his ideals and let investors lose everything. He chose the people, pushing for a hard fork, a partial rollback of the blockchain to before the hack. Stolen Ether was redirected to a special contract, allowing victims to recover their funds. This decision split the community. Some rejected the fork, inciting that blockchain immutability was paramount, and continued on the original chain, creating Ethereum Classic. Ether's price nearly halved, and trust in the project wavered. Yet, the community proved its maturity, showing that even in crisis, people could unite to rebuild what mattered. In 2017, Ethereum became the epicenter of an ICO boom. Startups issued tokens, and investors bought them, hoping to strike it rich. About $5.5 billion was raised in the first quarter alone, 6 times more than the previous year. However, most projects either failed to launch or were outright scams. Ethereum, envisioned as a platform for freedom and transparency, risked becoming a casino. This hit Vitalik hard. He publicly declared, "If all we achieve is memes and casinos, I'm done. It was a moment of growth, as he realized code demands humans' responsibility. Meanwhile, the Ethereum team prepared to transition to proof of stake, a system where participants stake Ether to validate transactions, replacing energy-intensive mining. In December 2020, the Beacon Chain testnet launched to safely trial mechanism. In December 2022, the merge unified the testnet with the main network, fully transitioning Ethereum to proof of stake. This slashed energy consumption by 99.9% and reduced Ether inflation by nearly 90%, more than a technical upgrade. It marked Ethereum's maturation, aligning it closer to its philosophical roots as a sustainable, real-world tool. In September 2023, Vitalik's X account was hacked via a SIM swap attack, where fraudsters hijacked his phone number. They posted a phishing link promising free NFTs, leading to 700,000 in losses for followers. Vitalik confirmed the breach, warning, "Don't rely on phones for account security." The incident underscored that even the creator of a secure crypto system was vulnerable to human error. In November 2023, the Ethereum Gate scandal erupted. Former advisor Steven Nerayov alleged that 75% of early Ether was unfairly allocated to enrich the team and insiders. He released a audio recording of conversation with Vitalik discussing restructuration and regulator deals. The Ethereum team dismissed their claims as revenge from a fired consultant, but the audio cast a shadow over the project's reputation, raising questions about token distribution and possible regulatory favoritism. In January 2025, another conflict across the community demanded the resignation of Ethereum Foundation's executive director, Aya Miyaguchi. She faced accusations of inefficiency, slow network progress, and opaque financial policies. Social media attacks escalated into threats and doxing. Vitalik staunchly defended her, calling the behavior pure evil and warning that toxicity repels talented developers and harms Ethereum's reputation. Vitalik keeps his personal life in private. Unmarried and unattached, he lives in Singapore, indulging in chess, philosophy, mathematics, and ethics. Vitalik Buterin is the quiet and sky creator of Ethereum. He doesn't talk or move a lot in public, but he speaks strongly when he sees something unfair. He gives a lot of his money to help others. In 2024, he gave 300,000 to care for a hippo in Thailand, and often sends cryptocurrency to medical research and public projects. He believes technology should be fair, open, and help people. Now, he works on Ethereum's future. His goals are faster transactions, better privacy, and making the network easier to use while keeping it safe. Vitalik's story shows that big ideas need both dreams and responsibility. He built a system without leaders but became its moral guide. What do you think? Is Vitalik Buterin a tragic hero whose dream was corrupted, or a cynical manipulator? Write this in the comments, subscribe and give me a like. See you next time. Tschüss.